Leviticus chapter 3. And if his oblation be a sacrifice of peace offering, if he offer it of the herd, whether it be a male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron's sons the priest shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. And he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering an offering made by fire unto the Lord, the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver with the kidneys, it shall be he take away. And Aaron's son shall burn it on the altar upon the burnt sacrifice, which is upon the wood that is on the fire. It is an offering made by fire of a sweet savour unto the Lord. And if his offering for a sacrifice, a peace offering unto the Lord, be of the flock, male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. And if he offer a lamb for his offering, then shall he offer it before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it before the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron's son shall sprinkle the blood thereof round about upon the altar. And he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering an offering made by fire unto the Lord, the fat thereof and the whole rump. It shall he take off hard by the backbone, and the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire unto the Lord. And if his offering be a goat, then he shall offer it before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of it, and kill it before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle the blood thereof upon the altar round about. And he shall offer thereof his offering, even an offering made by fire unto the Lord, the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire, for a sweet savour. All the fat is the Lord's. It shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that ye eat neither fat nor blood. The peace offering is something that has a whole lot of ramifications to it, a whole lot of meaning tied up into what seems like a very simple thing. The word for peace used here in Hebrew is actually the word shalomim. Not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but it is the plural of shalom, which means peace. And as the plural, it indicates that there are a whole lot of functions that this offering meets. And its whole function is to try and bring peace between individuals and between individuals and God for a large number of circumstances. And we'll see that as we go through. But the interesting thing is that as we go through these chapters, you're going to note 2 things. One is how extraordinarily precise the instructions are. And in this particular peace offering, only the kidneys and the fat are burned. And for the vast majority of people, you'll have absolutely no understanding of why it is that it's important that the whole rump part be included. And that's because the favorite sheep in this part of the world, the sheep that seem to do best in the desert country, are a type of sheep called the fat-tailed sheep. And on a big sheep, a normal adult sheep of this size, might weigh 100, 120 pounds, fully grown. And when slaughtered and the hide taken off, and you would have a body weight left of maybe 55 to 65 pounds. And the reason they're called fat-tailed sheep is because the fat on the tail can be 10 of that 50 to 60 pounds. The fat was symbolic of the overall health and well-being of the animal. And so even though the person would take away the other part of the animal, it was important that they offer the sacrifice of the health and the well-being of the animal as symbolic of their own health and well-being and the good part of their life to God. Putting their hand on the head was like transferring the sins, perhaps, that they have. This was a concept that they had. All of these things, now they understood that when you put your hand on your head, that sins don't go anywhere. You know, if you were stupid, you lied, and you put your head on your hand on the sheep's head, that didn't mean the sheep lied. It was symbolic of this. And the Lord was trying to get them to understand the symbolism of stuff, because these people were having horrible time trying to understand symbolism. So that's why they had this preparatory gospel. So that they would, by repetition, over the generations and generations and generations, when the truth was presented to them and the Savior came, some of them at least would make a connection. You got to remember, only 70 people who were Hebrew existed on the face of the earth at the time the children of Israel went into Egypt. Now he's got a couple of million people. But now he's got to take Egypt out of the people. And he's got to get them thinking ahead. Got to get the children of the children of the children of the children thinking, this is how things are supposed to be. Why are we doing this? And as the kids asked the fathers and the grandfathers and the great-grandfathers and the grandmothers and the great-grandmothers, and the explanations come down, you start to build generations of people who are steeped in righteousness, who are steeped in some understanding. But you notice how specific, how exacting the instructions are. And this is so that the people who were the kind of people, and we always have them, we always know them, you know. There are kinds of people who can do deals on a handshake, and they shake hands, and each one of them will fulfill not just the minimal letter of the law, but they'll do the spirit of whatever the agreement was. I said I will deliver this to you, and I will deliver this to you, and they will be the very best that I have got, and you will pay me X certain amount of money by such and such a time, and we're not going to argue about this, and I'm going to give you their best, and you're going to pay me on time. There are people who do that, and there are other people who have to have it all written down. Every single detail. You will draw a check out from such and such a bank by 10 o'clock on the morning of so-and-so, and it will be delivered by courier to my office at so-and-so, and I will give you these, and these will meet certain standards, and they will be manufactured by such and such a person, and there's so many of them will pass muster, and if there's so many of them, or a certain percentage of them are defective, well, we'll make up the difference somehow. And it's got to be right down. And the Lord hates that. He wanted a people that he could deal with on the basis of love and giving. But what he had to start out with was people who needed absolute every detail. And that's what we have here in Leviticus. Absolutely every detail. More coming. We got to chapter 16 for these kinds of things.